Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to our weekly Bhagavad Gita session. Uh, we'll with topic today that we'll discuss today is Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, and we'll refer to some of the verses from Bhagavad Gita to understand this particular topic and its significance and its relevance for all of us. So we'll before we as we jump into the topic. We have few devotees joining from some other groups as well who have completed 18 sessions of Bhagavad Gita, and so we welcome all of you. Welcome all of you to this group, and where we will try to discuss Bhagavad Gita topics in detail in a participative way, in a way in which we can collaboratively we can discuss and we can try and understand together the topics of Bhagavad Gita in different ways. So, as we proceed with today's session, let's do a quick knowledge check. And you can use your chat function to give answers. We have about 5 questions, followed by detailed discussions. So, please feel free to type your answers. Don't look at other people's answer. Whatever you may think, you can give that answer, and we'll have those topics discussed in a little bit further detail after that. The first question. Arjuna was not able to decide whether to fight or not because, uh, yes, Yashaswini Mataji, now you have to concentrate on answering. A, B, C, D are the 4 options. Tamanna Mataji, you have just joined. We just started. We're just going to do a quick knowledge check. This is from first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna Vishada Yoga, its title, and observing the armies on the battlefield. Prabhupada has translated that as the title in the Bhagavad Gita. So he was not sure. Answer A is if he was not sure if he had sufficient weapons to fight. B, he was confused due to compassion, fear of sinful reactions, non-enjoyment, degradation of social values. If war to happen, the elder brother would have become king. So why fight? That is C. And Krishna was not fighting, therefore he didn't wanted to fight. I'm going to chat box. We have about 60 participants. Option B is seems to be the hope everyone has responded and everyone know how to chat, how to click on the chat box, chat icon, and then you can type whatever you want to. So we have all the answers. There's no we have not seen any contrary answer, but so we will accept answer option B as the answer. Anybody would like to elaborate on this point? uh, this whole scene of chapter 1 in a very, very 2-3 minute summary why this happened, and what was Arjuna's condition at the end of chapter 1. Anybody can raise hand if they want to. Whatever you can remember, you can speak. Sudeep Chaudhary Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Yes, Prabhuji, this is Arjuna's reaction was very normal, Prabhuji, and this is as per the condition of all of us in such a situation where when he sees that he has to fight with his fellow family people. So we will also be equally perturbed and bewildered what to do. And out of compassion, which is very normal for a good devotee, the compassion is a very useful characteristic for a devotee. And based on that, his reaction came and he was confused whether to fight or not. Hare Krishna.
Galaxy A03 Core. Can you rename yourself? We don't like this kind of names in our session. What do we call you? Galaxy. How can that be? Yeah, please answer since you have raised the hand, but please rename once you are done with the answering.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, can you mention your name, Prabhuji?
प्रशांत कुमार प्रभु जी.
Okay, Prashant Kumar Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. आप बोलिए प्रभुजी.
प्रभु जी, जहाँ तक ये अर्जुन ने जो ये निर्णय लिया था कि मुझे लड़ाई नहीं करनी है, उसका मुख्य कारण ये था कि उनके पास इतना ज्ञान नहीं था जो बाद में भगवान श्री कृष्ण जी ने जो उनको दिया। और इसके बाद उनको सब कुछ स्पष्ट हुआ कि ये जीवन की वास्तविकता क्या है। तो जब तक हम वास्तविकता से दूर रहते हैं, तब तक हमारे ऊपर अज्ञान का अंधकार छाया रहता है। तो फिर हम उसमें सही निर्णय नहीं ले सकते हैं कि हाँ, हमें क्या करना चाहिए या क्या नहीं करना चाहिए। या हमें यही नहीं पता होता है कि हम जो बोल रहे हैं वो सही है भी या नहीं। क्योंकि हमें जो जानकारी रहती है, बस हम उतना ही सोचते हैं कि हाँ, यही सही है। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा, बहुत अच्छी तरह से बताया प्रभु जी आपने। वेरी नाइसली यू मेंशन कि एक तो हमारे पास बहुत लिमिटेड नॉलेज होता है एंड उसी के ऊपर हम अपने सारे निर्णय लेते हैं। एंड वो अज्ञान होता है कि और कुछ इससे बेहतर नॉलेज एग्जिस्ट करता है, ये भी हमें जानकारी नहीं होती है। एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वी डोंट सर्च, वी डोंट लुक आउट, and that's condition for most of us. We are living life, we are excelling in whichever field we belong to. I work in finance, somebody may work in marketing, somebody else may work in HR, somebody may have his or her own business, somebody may work in government. Now we all think we are very smart, and we are doing great. We have so much knowledge, we know about everything what's happening around the world, every corner of the world, whatever happens, I'm the first one to know. And इससे बेहतर क्या चाहिए, और what do you want more? And that therefore we just remain indulging into these stupid things, which are temporary, ever changing, and of no use, of no spiritual benefit for anyone. They're here today, gone tomorrow. And we stupidly engage ourselves in spend whole of our lifetime in learning these things, which doesn't really have much value, apart from we being considered as very knowledgeable by the some of the people. um so we ignore, so we are in agyan, we don't have no right knowledge, and we don't have awareness that right knowledge exists outside what we know. And therefore we live in ignorance, we die in ignorance, and we get another birth in ignorance once again. So that's again very beautifully put, Prabhuji. This is this is the speech of agyan, or lack of knowledge. Thank you so much, both of you. We will want to have more participation in the for the second question. Krishna started his instruction by bringing out difference in good and bad, bringing out difference in dharma and adharma, teaching how to deal with family members and outsiders, bringing out difference in matter and spirit. Krishna begins his instruction by speaking what? Okay, let's go to the chat box. Meghna Mataji, it will be nice if you can speak, if you can raise hand, because sometimes it's difficult to keep track of chat box. So I understand your answer is very nice, but feel free to. We want to hear from everyone as much as we can. But yes, chat is also accepted. That's not a problem. If you're unable to speak or not in the right environment to speak, but as much as possible, feel free to speak. So we're just 9, 10, 11 responses. Others, what do you think? Any option D? Option D? Yeah, most of you have selected option D. We'd like to hear about this aspect of Bhagavad Gita. Who will speak? Yashaswini Mataji, would you like to elaborate on this option? What is explained in this by uh, the difference between matter and spirit? What exactly was spoken by Lord? Khushi, you want to explain? Want to explain? Khushi Shetty, or anybody want to raise hand, feel free to do. What is this point that Lord was explaining about a difference in matter and spirit? Yes, Vikas Prabhuji, since you have raised the hand.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So, as the question states that Krishna started his instruction by, so the very first verses he begins with that Asocyanam sochastvam pragnavadamscha vasasi. That although you are speaking very intelligently, but you are speaking about which is temporary. You are speaking on the bodily platform, and then Lord takes him to the spiritual platform. That you were always there, I was always there, and these all the enemies or the kings, they were always there, but in their spirit form, and they will always be existing. So in that way, actually, Lord is differentiating that don't be bothered about the bodily platform, but start thinking about that they are all spiritual, they are all spirit, and they will continue their journey. And in the further verses also, Lord explicitly explains about that what are the qualities of the spirit soul, that it is na hanyate hanyamane sharire, and it keep changing the like we change the clothes, it keep changing the bodies. So in that way, Lord actually differentiate between that matter and spirit. That you are bewildered because you are thinking only about matter, and when once you will start thinking about the permanent nature of the spirit, then you will come to the right understanding. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. So, anybody else would like to add anything in this particular section? Ashwini Wadkar Mataji, you're there? Angaraj Prabhuji? Meghna Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna tells Arjuna about the difference between matter and spirit, and he tells that this material body is just temporary and soul is eternal. So he tells not to worry about his family and guru as they keep changing only the bodies, and the soul is eternal.
Okay, very nice. Swapnil Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. I think both Mataji and Prabhuji have covered the points, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Dandavat Pranam.
Krishna. Thank you so much. So that's correct. So the instruction begin, it is said that spirituality begins with the knowledge about spirit. Adhyatma in the Hindi में जिसे कहा जाता है, अध्यात्म begins uh, by the knowledge, by giving knowledge of about Atma, about our true identity. If our identity, if we get ourselves wrong, if we identify ourselves wrongly, we will end up doing wrong actions also, because our actions are determined by our understanding of who we are. I'm a chartered accountant. I cannot go and work like an engineer or a doctor because I'm not that. I don't identify myself with that. So I will do functions which are associated with my understanding of who we are, who I am. Similarly, once we know our हम आत्मा है, हम शरीर नहीं है, we have a body, we are not body. Then naturally the inquiry comes, then what are we doing inside this body? Why are we having this body? And why are we suffering in this body? Is this temporary? Yes, it is temporary. We see people around us leaving their bodies. Where do they go? What happens to us after we give up our body? How did we got this body in the first place? Where did I fill the form and applied that I want a body in the womb of a mother who is resident of Mumbai, with Maharashtrian family, Gujarati family, Tamil family? When did I submit such application? No, none of us did, in fact, and we just realized that we are where we are when we open our eyes and started understanding that she is my mother, he seems to be my father, these are my brothers and sisters, and these are my other family members. This seems to be my home where I'm supposed to live every day. So everything was given to us on a platter. uh, we didn't even choose to become a male or female. None of us. can claim that they were in the same gender in the previous life and will get the same gender in the next life. None of us choose to be in India. None of us choose to be anything. How much height we will get ultimately, how much, what kind of qualities that we will have. We do we have a sensitive mind or insensitive mind? Are we do we get angry? We will have a healthy body or unhealthy body, good looking body, bad looking body. We will have, what kind of a qualities we will have. None of us has chosen any of these things, but we still been given what we have, and we are trying to figure out how best we can live using whatever we've got. So on what basis all of this was given to us? Then everything around us is temporary. And then how much should we invest in these temporary things? And what is then permanent? What is final? What is it that I should really be worried about? Which are those things for which I should really care? So these are the things, naturally, these are the questions naturally comes out of understanding that we are not this body, we are soul. And search for these answers is rest of the Bhagavad Gita. Search of this for these answers will take us through, will help us go through the rest of the Bhagavad Gita. So it's a most important aspect in explained in the Bhagavad Gita, that uh, that by with a wrong identity you will do wrong activity, and then you will miss the bus, as they say, or you will end up wasting your life. So wake up, wake up, get yourself to a correct understanding, and then move forward with the right manner. Then do right activity, then identify which right activities you should do those activities and make your life successful. So this is this is the principal difference. And how we can benefit by learning that we are not this body, we are soul. Also we will naturally develop detachment. जो temporary है, जो जाने ही वाला है, how much we will invest in those things? We will invest less than we sit in a train, and while journey, we have people around us. How much we invest in them? We don't invest much in them. Why? Because we know that everyone is here for a very brief period. Their station will come, they will get up and get out. So we may talk with them nicely, we may behave nicely with them, but we don't indulge in too much with them, because we know they are temporary association. We are aware of their temporary association. But whatever is permanent, we invest more in them. Similarly, we should find out which are the matters which are permanent for us, and we should invest more in those aspects. And that's what the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. The next question is, after giving old useless body, what happens? Takes a new soul, takes new body, just as we wear new garment. Soul does not get a new body. Soul goes to heaven and enjoy and never returns to this world. Soul remains in the body, bodiless form, wandering in this world. Yeah, most of the answers seems to be A. Anybody would like to explain the process? What is this called? Somebody who has not spoken so far, feel free to raise hand. Ashwini Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare
In
Krishna.
Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained in the Adhyay 2nd, 23rd shloka that how the man changes his clothes. Man wear new clothes. That's like soul also changes his body after death, and it will get new body.
Okay. Very nice. Umesh Prabhuji, you also had your hand raised. Dipsa Rani Mataji, yes. Yeah, Umesh
हरे
Prabhuji,
कृष्ण
follow.
प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम।
Yes, Mataji.
प्रभु जी चैप्टर 2 में है जो देहिनस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहांतर प्राप्ति धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते। हाँ, जैसे कि मतलब वो बॉडी जो कुमार से यौवन तक जाएगा, उससे बुढ़ापा तक जाएगा, तो उसी से हमको हैरानी नहीं होनी चाहिए। तो उसी तरह ही वो जब ओल्ड हो जाएगा वो बॉडी, तो उसके बाद वो न्यू शरीर ले जाएगा। तो इसके लिए हमको इसी बात पे कोई मतलब कोई चिंता नहीं करनी चाहिए।
Okay.
थैंक यू प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. Thank you. S- Pachi Mataji, would you add anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So Lipsarani Mataji has covered my point also, but I want to add that in a few devotees also mentioned. He says in verse number 22 also, chapter number 2nd, that Vasansi Janani verse. And so we should not get bewildered if someone is dying, because the way a child takes birth, he's getting older and older. And as we change our clothes, so we are changing our bodies also. So there is nothing to, lament over. So thank you,
Nothing
Prabhuji.
to lament over. Um, but so as we as a devotees, we understand that there is nothing to lament. In fact, there is a need to help to such a soul who is about to give up his body. We should help him with remembrance of Krishna so that he can go back to Krishna. In fact, this is a moment of examination for the soul, that if he has practiced spiritual Krishna consciousness nicely throughout his life, he there is a very good chance that he may remember Krishna at the moment of his death, if he has taken shelter, sufficient shelter of Krishna. And if Krishna's promises in Bhagavad Gita that if you can remember me at the moment of your death, you can come to me. And how difficult it is to understand that this aspect that we see, uh, that we've had multiple evidences uh, through the transmigration through the um, through the to the punar janma, or people take children of at the age of 4, 5, 6, 10, start remembering and remembering their previous lives. They give detailed lot of details about their previous lives, which they lived maybe far away from the place where they are currently living. And they so scientists actually gets involved in such case studies, and then they try to understand aspect of whatever the child is revealing through various means, whether there should be remembrance, there should be recognitions, and remembrance of a very detailed remembrance from past lives should be able to elaborately give. Should be able to recognize people, recognize uh, things, recognize places, and should be able to recall all of that and narrate to the examiners that this is where he lived in his previous body. Then people he should be able to recognize, he was my husband in the previous life, he was my son in the previous life. And that is how then there are birthmarks. Most of the uh, children have birthmarks and phobias from previous life, which are in inconsistency with the previous birth. So all of us have had previous birth. Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita say 27th verse, jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu dhruvo janma mrutasya cha. The one who has taken the body, accepted the body, is sure to die, and the one who will die is sure to take birth again. And this transmigration process of is going on as if eternally. So as at our level we should ask a question, that if there is a journey the soul is undergoing, and
Hare
if
Krishna
the
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
I don't know with me only, or it is like your net is having some issues that with me it is having, at least. I don't know with other devotees.
Okay, is
That
voice
it is,
okay, or
yes,
is
Prabhuji. It
Hare
is,
Krishna Prabhuji. I think Prabhuji is loud and clear, Prabhuji. I think it is at your end, Prabhuji. Sorry to
okay,
say
okay,
about
okay. No,
that.
no,
We
it's
are
okay, it's okay.
clearly hearing.
I'll, right,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
yeah. So yeah, so the point I was making is basically this is the Ian Stevenson is one of the pioneer scientists who performed a lot of such examinations, a lot of conducted a lot of such case studies, and he came up with the conclusion that it's the soul who is changing body. The previous body, there's a spiritual element, and it's very easy to conclude. It's easy to conclude when somebody leaves body, we say that person has left the body. We immediately start referring to that person as a body of that person, just like I have a this is my kurta, that becomes body of that person. And it's there in our consciousness. We just gets covered when we function in the world. But now we need to in while by study of Bhagavad Gita, we need to bring this knowledge on the forefront, and then live life according to this knowledge. Don't keep it in the backbench. Don't leave it behind, because this is a primary knowledge with which we should live our life, and and make it successful. The next question is, what good bad we get in our life depends on luck, our intelligence and smart work, our efforts and Krishna's sanction. Option, option. Uh, Hope everyone is participating in this, and I would like to hear more about this particular one question. Which verse it is clear it is covered in the second chapter, and second, if somebody can elaborate on this, that will be wonderful. Feel free to raise hand. Swapnil Prabhuji already spoken. Umesh Prabhuji, you want to speak? You're there in the car.
श्री कृष्ण परिदंड प्रणाम
Yes,
कर्मण्य
Mataji.
से मा फलेषु कदाचन मा
Mm-hmm.
हेतुर्भूर मार्गे संगोत्सव कर्मणि
Yeah, elaborate a little bit. What does it mean?
जो
Hindi चालेल. हाँ, Hindi it's
हरे
okay.
कृष्ण
Yes.
जो भी हमारे ड्यूटीज है वो हमें करना ही है, उसको हमें अवॉइड नहीं करना है। और जो भी हम हमारे कर्म कर रहे हैं उसका जब भी हमें रिजल्ट अच्छा रिजल्ट मिलता है, तभी हमें ये नहीं समझना है कि ये मेरे वजह से हो रहा है। और जो भी हम कर्म कर रहे हैं उससे अटैचमेंट भी नहीं रखना है।
Okay, fine. Anybody else would like to say something more?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Mandar.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, last time we spoke, you gave the example of one cricketers, Bishan Singh Bedi and Padmakar Shivalkar. So both of them are the very talented, but even Padmakar Shivalkar was more, is more talented. But in the national team, we got Bishan Singh was there in the one national team. So both of them were talented, but it is the previous karma based on that, and the Krishna's sanctions that
Some
one person has to
one
get.
got more
Yeah.
success, one got less success.
Yes, correct.
Okay, yeah, very nice. Bhagat Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. All glories to Prabhupada and the devotees. So it is a very complex calculation between Sanchit Karma, Kriyamani Karma, Prarabdha Karma. If you are chanting, but you have sinful activities, तो वो नाम जप का असर बहुत slow होता है, association of devotees. And it's also mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, page 209, 79th verse, that even if one distribute millions of cows, so that also will not equate to the virtue one gets by chanting the holy name of the Lord, provide one is free from bad karma, leads a good regulated life in accordance with the scripture. The bad that we get, but even if you do good, you will get punya and benefits in the next birth. You will not get liberation until you realize you are not the body or the soul. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Deepak Prabhuji, and then Sachi Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. In fact, one of the examples in this regard you have given in some session where the example of the farmer that he sows the seeds, he's putting his efforts. But if the Krishna sanctions by giving the rain, okay, then he will get the good results. But if the rains are not coming, then it is like this example which you have given, so I remember that.
Okay.
So his answer is point B. We have to put the efforts, but the actual sanction comes from the Krishna.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Oji. Yes, another Deepak Prabhuji and Sachi Mataji.
Dandvat Pranam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We had discussed earlier in one of our session the Karma Vada and Davya Vada. One topic was there. So our what we are doing and what type of karma we are doing, that will that is going to affect the things in the later of life.
Mhm.
And also the Davyavada, like how the Krishna blessed to us, will get the blessing from the Krishna. That will also impact our those you know good luck or bad luck things. So basically, the effort and Krishna will be the right answer.
Okay, very nice. Sachi Mataji last, and then we'll move to on the next question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, firstly, you asked about the verse. So, what I think it's karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phal heturburma te sangotsva karmani. So, here Shri Krishna explains like whatever is in your hand, like whatever is your duty, just do it with full faith in the Lord and do it with full determination, but don't get attached with the results because that is not in your hands. So, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you so
Prabhuji.
much. So I was discussing yesterday with some participant shloka test, Bhagavad Gita shloka contest. So we gave a example of a man in American television. A 92-year-old man came on American television. In the studio, he was smoking cigar or pipe, some smoke. And then the interviewer, he was came there for an interview. So interviewer asked him naturally that smoking is injurious to your health, and has nobody has told you yes so far. And this man casually responds that yes, I've been told this by many doctors who most of them have died by now, and some of them actually died of cancer. That they were telling me that this will cause cancer, and I'm still alive, 92, very much healthy. And those doctors who were advising me of this actually have died, and some of them actually have died by cancer. So life present paradox, situations which are confusing, bewildering. All of us, we teach our children to brush our teeth every day. And we reason we give is that you will not get toothache. आपके दांत अच्छे रहेंगे. Despite of brushing tooth or every day, whatever the frequency all of you follow, every one of us some stage go through toothache, and don't have to become 60-year-old to get tooth problems. I know most of us start getting tooth problems from age of 20, 30, and as early as 15 also, despite of brushing the tooth. So should we brush or should we not brush? Because toothache to वैसे भी होने वाला है. So this is the law of karma is very these are, I mean, on the funny side, but it's bewildering. I mean, it's happening every moment. We get we see we want something to happen, and viparit happens. The ulta ho jata hai. Something opposite only happens, and we just are left bewildered कि ये ऐसा तो होना नहीं चाहिए था. I've done everything whatever was necessary, and suddenly this is happening. Then what is my role in it? What am I supposed to do really? We are supposed to do our duty. We are supposed to do our duty to the best of our ability. Then if something is getting sanctioned by Krishna, and the results are not as per our expectation, we should accept it as Krishna's sanction, Krishna's will. And we should still try to mitigate the situation, try to do it better whatever we can, but should definitely not cry for it. Should not cry for it. We should accept it as Krishna's sanction and move on. That's why very early in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about tolerance also. So it's real, and every day we get experience of it. Just don't have to. We just don't know how to relate our life experiences with Bhagavad Gita, and that is what in these sessions we will try to do, so that you get first hand experience of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita becomes live book in your in your life. It's not a more currently it's a book which is on in my cupboard in some section, maybe on display, so that people come and see that I have Bhagavad Gita in my life and in my home, and they may consider me to be a saintly or a holy person. I may be reading it also occasionally, but when you live life according to the Bhagavad Gita, when you get more realization of Bhagavad Gita, you every day you realize Bhagavad Gita in your while living our life, while going through our lives. So it's no more a book of theory; it's very much practical. The last s- question in this series is: senses can be given higher taste, so that they can give up lower engagement. Senses are so strong they can kidnap mind of a person who is trying to control. A and B, and none of the above. Type your option. None of the above. I have 2 3 1 D and 2 3 C, 1 B. Oh, we are putting A B C. There are many C's. Angaraj Prabhuji, would like to elaborate? A and B, basically, means that is option C says that A and B. I think most of you have got it
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
right.
Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Prajay.
Prabhuji, there is one verse where Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, Yatato hi api kaunteya. I don't remember the complete verse. In that verse, the Lord Krishna instructing the Arjuna that the senses are so strong that they can forcefully carry away the mind and can get engaged in the sense objects. Or there is no remedy to get distracted. There is no remedy to control the mind. But by engaging the mind on the higher taste, by giving him the higher taste, by engaging him in the devotional services, or by chanting the Lord name, or by giving the all the senses the things which are devotionally, which are in the path of devotion, that only the mind get engaged in that path, or he automatically the mind can leave the lower taste.
Mhm.
Otherwise, the mind is continuously active. Because tendency of mind that he will get attracted to anything. He require anything to get engaged. So, Guruji, I think both the options are correct because senses are so strong because they are continuously working, about which we are not aware about it. They are continuously working in the background. So there is no other options to get control these senses apart from chanting the Lord name and engaging the senses in the service of the Lord. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Very nice thing. Thank you so much, Prajay. Ashwin Shukla, Prajay.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु जी। स्टेटमेंट ए के लिए वर्स नंबर 2.59 एंड स्टेटमेंट बी के लिए वर्स नंबर 2.60। 2.59 इज विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिना रसवर्जम रसोप्यस्य परम दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते। भगवान कहते हैं कि जब हम अपने इंद्रियों को नियंत्रण में रखना चाहते हैं तो वो हमेशा टेस्ट के लिए ढूंढती रहती हैं, और जब हम नियंत्रण करना चाहते हैं तो वो किसी ना किसी और टेस्ट के लिए ढूंढती रहती हैं। पर जब हम उन्हीं इंद्रियों को हायर टेस्ट में एंगेज करते हैं, मतलब भगवान के नाम, ये जो नाम का महात्म्य है उसके ऊपर एंगेज करते हैं, तब हमें उनसे मुक्ति मिल जाती है। और बी स्टेटमेंट में जो कहा गया है कि सेंसेस इतनी स्ट्रांग होती है कि वो वर्ष है, ये तो ही आपकी कौनते पुरुष से उपस्थिता इंद्रियाणी प्रमाथिनी हरती प्रसभम बना। यहाँ पर अर्जुन कह रहे हैं कि भगवान कह रहे हैं कि वो अर्जुन, जो आपके इंद्रियां हैं वो उनको जो भी कंट्रोल करने के लिए प्रयास करते हैं उनका ही हर सकती है, मतलब इतना शक्तिशाली है इंद्रियां, मतलब वो आपको मनुष्य को अपने वश में कर इसको। हरे कृष्णा,
Hare
धन्यवाद।
Krishna, Prajay. Dandavat Pranam. So, so nicely explained, Prajay. Explained two verses, 59 and 60. 59 says the senses, uh, you can't say keep saying no to your senses. You need to engage senses. Eyes will want to see all the time, the tongue will want to taste food all the time. So just give them higher engagement, higher taste. If you not give that, they will by default get gravitated towards the lower taste. And then if they get hooked to one of the senses, get hooked to the sense object, they can carry away mind of a person who is even trying to learn Bhagavad Gita, trying to apply the Bhagavad Gita in their life. Such person can get also carried away. Mind of such person can also get carried away, and then he can get drifted from his path of spirituality. So we need to give right engagement to the senses rather than saying no to the senses. Give positive input to the senses. Instead of keeping senses hungry, give prasad, feed. Instead of avoiding, not eating is not a solution, but eating prasad is a solution. Not seeing is a solution. Close nahi karne eyes don't have to shut down our eyes, but seeing Lord's beautiful form by visiting temple is important. Seeing devotees is giving higher taste to the eyes. So singing is natural. Singing and dancing, it's natural. So if you like to do that in Lord's Kirtan. So while singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you can dance. Again, dance in ecstasy, and that thereby. So if you get this higher taste, the lower taste will go away. So Krishna says this is better way of handling our senses. Rather than saying no, say yes to the higher things, and that way the senses will be engaged. At the same time, you are not degrading. In fact, you are upgrading yourself. Thank you so much, everyone, for very nice participation, and we'll prefer that kind of a participation in rest of the session also. We'll jump to the today's topic. We'll look at some verses from chapter 4 to understand how Krishna explains about his greatness and about his how he is Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam, how Krishna is Purna Purushottam Bhagavan. So this chapter begins by Krishna speaking a verse. It's not doesn't start by any question. There's no question that Arjuna is asking, but Lord begins this chapter by speaking a verse. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manve praha munir ikshvakave bravit. That that the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god, Vivaswan. And Vivaswan instructed um, to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed to Ishwaku. Now we must understand this, the 3.37. Um, Arjuna has asked 36. Arjuna has asked a question: ki why people are compelled to act in a sinful way, as if forcefully somebody is, as making people commit sin. Then Krishna says, Rajo Guna Samudbhava. Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajo Guna Samudbhava. Because of the contact with the Rajo Guna, there is a Kama and Krodha that it gets manifested. And they force a person to commit sinful actions. Even if they do not wish to, they will still be forced to commit such actions. And people regret. And, you can look back at your life. Today, yesterday, day before yesterday, last week, last month, number of such actions you yourself, I myself at least can remember, which I regret today. I felt that I could have done something different. I could have spoken differently. I did spoke very harshly. I did. I did this thing which I deliberately to hurt in sentiment of that person, emotions of that person. I intentionally hurt the other person. I intentionally was rude to this person. I spoke rude words to that person, and hopefully not physically. You're not assaulted anybody, but mentally and by words, definitely we assault. We hurt people. around us all the time. And if you look back, some of those reactions we feel were little too much. We could have been little sober. We could have been little mild. And this keep happening with us. So, so that is this is where uh, this is the personality of Godhead is instructing that imperishable science of yoga, and he's the point here making is that I spoke with Sun God, and he gave it to his son, who gave it to his son, and that is how it's been passed on to the generations. Evam parampara praptim imam rajarshayo viduhu so kale neha mahata yogo nashtah parantapa. The supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and saintly kings understood it in that way. But in the course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. So from 3.37, uh, when Krishna speaks that this science of how to control our inner enemy was given by me to Sun God. Now, this science is important because a king can protect their kingdom from external enemies. But what about internal enemies? Now, those are also very critical. And therefore, if a king can show by personal example how to behave, how to act, how to conduct himself, the kingdom will follow, the praja will follow the king. And therefore, it was given to the kings who was a Kshatriya king. Sun God is a Kshatriya king. And in the chain of disciplic succession, this knowledge was passed on from one generation to another. But as of today, it appears to be lost. It appears to be lost. Therefore, Krishna says, I am giving this knowledge to you once again. So conquer the lust by regulating senses and engaging in devotional service of Krishna. Nitya Vairini, lust is Nitya Vairini, or eternal enemy of the knowledgeable people. Therefore, one should be always worried, guarded against the influence of lust on our life. The king is obliged to protect its citizen not only from external but also from internal enemy. The Krishna gives this knowledge to saintly king Rajar Shayo Vidu. A very beautiful word Krishna uses, so that they can practice it themselves, and seeing them practice, citizens can also follow. Yad yad acharati sreshtas tat tat eve taro janaha. Partnership between saint and king is must for having ideal social order. Examples of such partnerships is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and King Prataprudra is first example. When 500 years ago Mahaprabhu appeared, Prataprudra was uh, was the ruler, and under Mahaprabhu's guidance he was ruling. Chandragupta, Chanakya, then Buddha, and King Ashoka. So saintly king, the partnership between a king and a saint is essential for proper social order, and we see wherever that those exist, the society is in proper shape. Knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is not freshly thought by Krishna on the battlefield, because Arjuna asked some questions. So in Brahma Samhita 5.52, it is stated that Lord Brahma said, let me worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, who is original person and under whose order the sun, which is the king of all planet, is assuming immense power and heat. The sun represents the eye of the Lord and traverses its orbit in obedience to his order. So sun rises with the order from Krishna. Because of Krishna's order, sun rises. We assume sun will rise every day, but we don't know why sun rises. By our intelligence, we are able to calculate by at what time sun will rise and sun will set, but we don't know on whose order sun is rising. Definitely, it's not President of India, Prime Minister of India, even President of America, who consider himself to be the most powerful person on the planet. His son does not take orders from him either. So, but here it is revealed by Brahmaji that that son takes order from Krishna. Sun rises because he's been ordered to rise and set by Krishna for our benefit. So That is Krishna's position. Krishna first gave this knowledge to sun god Vivaswan, who is king of all planet. Vivaswan gave it to Manu, father of mankind, and Ishwaku, the king of the planet Earth. Now this one may wonder कि why it is given to the kings. ये cheating नहीं है क्या? ये discrimination नहीं है? It should be given to everyone. Is not Bhagavad Gita available? Should be available to everyone because it is everybody's uh, concern that if they are unable to control their senses, regulate their senses, and engage in devotional service, all their life can be wasted. So yes, it is important, but it is prioritization, not discrimination. Knowledge is meant for everyone, and everyone should figure out a way and means to learn this knowledge from whichever source available. But if it is given to kings, kings can demonstrate by personal example how it is practiced, and seeing king practice, people can follow. But Krishna says कि कुछ भी permanent नहीं है. This knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is also not permanent. He says in the second verse that in the course of time, this knowledge was lost. Therefore, 5,000 years ago, Krishna had to re-establish this knowledge by speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, making him the first receiver of this knowledge in the current yuga. What does this tell us? What it tell us about this knowledge? It is available today. All of you are learning Bhagavad Gita. What lesson you can take from this? So kale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. This in this course of time, this knowledge was lost. What we can learn out of this sentence for our own practice? Hope all of you know how to raise hand. You can go to the reactions, and there is a way you can raise hand. There's actually a button. So, and that you can click on the same to lower hand as well. So what we can get out of it? What this line? But in the course of time, this knowledge was lost. Anybody who has not spoken? Hope all of you are listening. I'm hoping. Very quick. We'll just run over time otherwise.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So this knowledge was probably lost because the Mayavadis, there were different sects of philosophers, different saints. There were a lot of disputes between the Buddhists and the other scriptures, between the personal and the impersonal form of God. And Shankara also came in with his philosophy and to disturb the Mayavadi's philosophy. So Krishna, that is why he said that this will be revived by saints, and that's when he says yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, that as the bad times come, I keep reincarnating time and age again to revive and revitalize the essential Vedic knowledge.
That's fine, but what is in it for me? What should I get out of it? Prashant Kumar Praji or Madhuvanjari Mataji after them? Yes, Prashant Kumar Praji, you can speak. Yeah, unmute. Yes.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु प्रभु जी यहाँ जो भगवान श्री कृष्ण जी जो ज्ञान दे रहे हैं वो उसमें जैसे कि बहुत सी पीढ़ियां आती हैं, बहुत समय बीत जाता है। जैसे कि हम भी अगर कोई भी चीज ग्रहण करते हैं तो हमारी स्मृति उतनी नहीं रहती है कि हम उस चीज को बहुत समय तक कहीं उसको संग्रह कर सकें, क्योंकि हम क्षणिक सब चीज होता है, तो वो सब चीजें वो नहीं रहती है कि जिससे कि आगे किसी को वो चीज उपलब्ध हो सके। तो इस तरह से वो
so हमें मिल चुका है, तो what should we do now? What it brings us to? Yes, Madhur Manjari, two words. Madhur Manjari, Devdasi. Yes, Mataji.
One thing is that पहले तो ये सिर्फ राजों को दिया जाता था, but now we need to we are understanding that this has been given to everybody. So we need to understand that now Krishna, I mean, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he's been very, 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 very like this thing, means he's very merciful. So we have to be very thankful that and very humble and very lucky that we are getting this knowledge. And now after getting this knowledge, we have to understand that we have to use this knowledge. Otherwise, if we don't use something, it becomes forgotten. Like if we have a mobile, if we have something and if we don't use it and we forget about it, then it becomes means वो हमारे ध्यान से निकल जाता है. तो इसका अगर हम ध्यान नहीं करेंगे तो हमारे भी ये ध्यान से निकल सकता है.
Correct. So nothing is permanent. Even today, we may feel devotees are there, temples are there, Bhagavad Gita is there. Swapnil Babu is right, saying that it is preserved by UNESCO. All that is temporary. If I become lethargic in my practice of Krishna consciousness, it can be lost for me, at least, and I may miss the bus. I it In no time I can go back to my old ways of life and forget about Krishna consciousness. So it's time for all of us to maximize our Krishna consciousness, not take it cheaply, not take it lightly, not take it thinking that अभी तो हम भक्तों के संग में है. Now we are in association devotee. I know whom to call. He's going to be there always. Whenever so let me space out. Let me do my things first. And ये तो करेंगे बाद में. Postpone. बाद में करते ही है. बाद में टाइम है. भक्ति में ही करना है. There's a beautiful drama that we used to do in Secret of Success, where Narad Muni comes to Kailash, is a character, young boy, medical student. Narad Muni comes, say, भगवत धाम लेके जाता हूँ अभी के अभी. He says, नहीं, अभी तो मैंने लोन दिया है मेरे माता पिता ने. Let me become a doctor, let me repay that loan, and then I will come. भगवत धाम जाना ही तो no, param laksha hai. And then Narad Muni keep coming after few years, and he keeps sending him back with giving one or the other reason कि नहीं नहीं अभी तो मेरे बच्चे हुए हैं, बच्चे को तो बड़ा होने दो, फिर मैं भगवत धाम जाऊंगा. भगवत धाम जाना ही तो सबसे बड़ी काम है. Then after a few days again Narad Muni comes. He says, my sons are children are his man has become useless, old. He says, all my children are useless, nobody pay attention, I have to do everything, so I cannot come now. And one or the other reason he keep giving, while admitting that Bhagavad Gita जाना ही परम धर्म है, परम कर्तव्य है every human का. He keep postponing the idea of going to Bhagavad Gita, and eventually he leaves his body. He becomes he becomes snake, he becomes dog, he becomes snake, and finally in snake body Narad Muni drags him out of his body and take him. So he got mercy in that, at least that drama. He got mercy from Narad Muni. Narad Muni is not going to come for us, so we shouldn't mess up again. We shouldn't, throw it all up again, thinking कि बाद में कर लेंगे. Have plenty of time. There should be a sense of urgency in practice of Krishna consciousness. With that, if we practice, we will be intense in our practice. We will be intense in our committed in our practice, and that will bring success for sure. So Prabhupada writes, the translator has to translate and act like a link between speaker and the people. Same message has to be given as the speaker is speaking. Translator should not add anything from his own. However, the translators of Bhagavad Gita took liberty in adding, as Bhagat Prabhuji mentioned, they added, subtracted everything, whatever as per their own choice. That is not what they were supposed to do. And therefore, all the Bhagavad Gita translations which are available in the market are not proper. They don't give authentic explanations of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Therefore, Prabhupada had to come out with a book and titled it as Bhagavad Gita as it is, as it was heard by Arjuna. The one way, easy way to validate the effect on the reader is to check whether it is the same as it was on Arjuna. If Arjuna heard Bhagavad Gita and he became crying Arjuna to Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, Dhanurdhari Arjuna, he became Dhanurdhari Arjuna. So he saw a transformation from a person who is sitting in his chariot, having given up his Gandiva and crying like a kid, and Kshatriyas don't cry. I mean, it was such a huge event, and Arjuna's crying itself was such a huge event. No Kshatriya would cry. They were meant for their heroics and ferocious natures and their shaurya, their tej. Crying is definitely not one of the qualities of kshatriya. Kshatriya men. So from that to one who is picked up his Gandiva and he's ready to fight, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara. So such transformation is expected. And if we are able to see transformation on the readers of Bhagavad Gita, we know that they that this Bhagavad Gita is proper, because Bhagavad Gita is book which induce transformation, which inspire people to transform their life. It is not supposed to remain as it is. We are not supposed to remain as it is by reading Bhagavad Gita. We are supposed to transform our life after reading Bhagavad Gita. If that is not happening, either we are reading wrong Bhagavad Gita or we are not reading it rightly. We are not able to understand Bhagavad Gita. So we should go to devotees and learn Bhagavad Gita from them. So this is what happened. 5,000 years ago, it was dictated by Krishna himself, so that the new disciplic succession can begin from Arjuna. The present moment also, there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita. Almost all of them are not according to the authorized disciplic succession. There are innumerable interpretations rendered by different mundane scholars, but almost all of them do not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, although they make good business on the words of Krishna. So Prabhupada is calling out very clearly in various places, starting from the introduction, start before the foreword. Prabhupada is writing very boldly. This is not meant for business. This is meant for helping people transform their life, helping people go back to Krishna. And none of those authors had any idea of these aspects. Therefore, all their commentaries were useless. So we should pick right Bhagavad Gita and we should read right Bhagavad Gita, not any Bhagavad Gita. Even though the Sanskrit is same, everything else people added, from their own mental fictions. So we should be careful. Another beautiful verse, Krishna says, Masa evayam maya tedya yoga proktah puratanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam ya etad uttamam. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend and can therefore understand the transcendental nature of this business, of this science. So science two times, ancient science and this science, twice Prabhupada is used in the translation. The science has to be understood properly, and even though no matter how proper a scientific siddhanta is, anybody, and everybody cannot understand it unless they are qualification. And Prabhupada, Krishna says that what are the qualifications mentioned for Arjuna for understanding this science is bhakto sime sakhachiti, rahasyam ya etad uttamam. This science is the science of the relationship with the Supreme. Science is the science of the relationship with the Supreme. Uh, and that science can be understood by who is who is eligible to receive Krishna's mercy, and that person can be his devotee or his friend. Has to be his devotee and his friend, has to be in some sense related with Krishna, has to be submissive to Krishna, has to be not should not be envious of Krishna. And anybody who is envious of Krishna will not follow what Krishna is speaking, because Krishna cannot be understood by our endeavor. Krishna can only be understood when he reveals himself to us. Krishna, we can only know about Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the only the extent whatever he reveals himself to us. But his mother will know everything about him. His brother will know everything about him. More than all of us can know. So, there, because they are related with him, so because of their relationship, he would have shared everything with them, and therefore they know. But otherwise, it is impossible to know. When we work in offices, go to colleges, and there are hundreds and thousands of people around us. How much do they know about us? Probably, if we happen to carry a ID, they probably by reading that they can know our name. They can probably know which department we belong to, which engineering stream I belong to. Very little. They will not know what I like. They will not know which clothes I feel very comfortable with. They may not even know that I like Bhagavad Gita unless I go and tell them, unless I reveal my heart to them. And I cannot reveal it to each and every person. We don't go and on using public announcement system, I don't reveal my heart to the whole community. I just reveal it to very intimate relatives, to my intimate, to those people with whom I might have intimate connection. And those people in a college where there are thousands of people, those people can be two or three with whom I develop a very nice relationship. Maybe to them I will reveal, not to everyone. So if हमारे बारे में ऐसा हो सकता है, तो how much knowledge we can get about Krishna, who is supreme personality of Godhead, who is who is such a great personality. So we cannot understand anything about Krishna unless he chooses to make us understand. By our own intelligence, we cannot understand anything. So we need specific scholarship to understand the subject. The science is that of science of relationship. Now that is another topic. Everybody claims to, all elderly people, in India, most of the people will claim to know Bhagavad Gita. हाँ पता है. If you offer them Bhagavad Gita, they say हाँ मुझे तो पता है Bhagavad Gita. What's a big deal? And but that's not true. We know by looking at their lifestyle, their living lifestyle not according to the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita expects you to learn Bhagavad Gita and transform, act according to Bhagavad Gita. Uh, so 15th chapter, uh, 19th verse, Krishna says that that if you learn this science, then uh, Krishna says that yomam yomam या योमाम एवं असम मूढ़ो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमम स सर्वविद भजति माम सर्व भावेन भारत. ये ज्ञान लेके आपको सो जाना नहीं है. After, if you understand by great difficulty, if you can understand that I am the Purushottama, what you need to do, sa sarva vida bhajati mam, sarva bhavena bharata. With all your heart, you have to start becoming, you have to become my devotee, you have to submit yourself to me, you have to surrender yourself to me. So Krishna is demanding action. After giving knowledge, he demands action. Because unless we take action, the knowledge is of no use. It's like, we know that tomato is a fruit, but it should not be used in fruit salad. So the knowledge has to have application also. If we don't apply, it's of no use. It will be lost in no time. Therefore, Krishna is very concerned about us, that we should learn and we should practice, and then we should perfect our knowledge. Example is given, is university topper is a respectable person, but he still need a ticket to come and travel in the train. Similarly, a person may know Sanskrit, and actually may give a lot of may be expert in Sanskrit, but he may not understand Bhagavad Gita unless he become devotee of Lord Krishna. It's like English professor is not fit to teach quantum physics because it is written in English. So people, Prabhupada, right? People with demoniac mentality who wish to enjoy property of Krishna by ignoring Krishna cannot accept Krishna as Supreme Lord. And such people concoct something about Krishna and mislead innocent people from the path of Krishna's instructions. Hence, it is important to learn this knowledge from devotees who are trying to follow the same by their own personal actions. Fourth verse, Arjuna is are going to ask a question. And yesterday, Nitai Madhaprabhu gave a beautiful class where he says, asking question is a sign of intelligence. That asking right questions is a sign of intelligence. And if you see, all our scriptures are revealed in the form of question and answer. Bhagavad Gita starts with a question. Question initially from Dhritarashtra, and then there are series of questions Arjuna asks, and in response to that, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, and in between also like this, where Arjuna is constantly checking on the facts कि जो जहाँ doubt आता है उनको he clarifies. Like in this case, Arjuna is thinking that Krishna is saying he gave this knowledge to sun god. Sun god तो प्राचीन है, and Krishna and me are almost of same age. So how can I understand? He's not doubting Krishna, but he's still clarifying from Krishna. How am I to understand that you gave this knowledge to Sun God, who is Prachin? Sun is seems to be existence forever. But Sun God, when did you had a chance to speak with him? When I have not spoken, when nobody else in the and I know we have taken birth only just now, maybe 50 years back, 100 years back, but Sun God is in existence for millions of years. So, how am I to understand that you gave this knowledge to Sun God? So Arjuna said the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? मतलब पूछ रहा है, and then that's the sign of that is the right sign of a person who is actually active learning. This is a sign of active learning, and not lecture चालू हो जाने के बाद सो जाना या it's not, that's not a right way of learning. So Arjuna is ready to he's conscious that he has to learn this knowledge, and in order to get out of his grief, the dukh, the whatever the condition that he was finding himself in, Arjuna was convinced that this knowledge is the only way out, and he was therefore very attentively listening, and therefore he could ask this beautiful question. A devotee of Krishna like Arjuna is undoubtedly about any misunderstanding of the transcendental position of Krishna. So Arjuna is putting this question before the Lord is simply an attempt by the devotee to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be ordinary human being, subject to the modes of material nature. Purport to Bhagavad Gita 4.4. Taking this opportunity, Krishna take time to reveal himself more in this chapter in next few verses. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava charjuna tanya aham veda sarvani natvam vedha parantapam. Tan aham veda sarvani. I know everything, but you don't know. Let's see, find out what. The personality of Godhead said, many, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Parantapa is a very important word. You are qualified. Okay, you maybe आप बहुत बड़े क्षत्रिय हो, but that is not enough for you to understand this science, so um, no matter how big you are, you cannot understand Krishna. No matter how qualified you are, no matter how qualified you might be, you that's not sufficient qualification to understand Krishna. No matter how rich you might be, but it's not sufficient qualification to understand Krishna. So Krishna can be understood only when he reveals by his property of his devotees. Let's see how Krishna Prabhupada writes in the purport that gives 5.33rd beautiful verse from Brahma Samhita that Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Nava Yauvanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Brahmaji is saying, I worship that Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning. Although expanded into unlimited forms, he is still the same original, the oldest, and the person, always appearing to be as a fresh youth. Such eternal, blissful, all knowing form of the Lord are usually not understood by even the best Vedic scholars, but they are always manifest to pure unalloyed devotees. Lord is property of his devotees. That's a underlying statement. In the Vedas also it is said that the Lord, although one without a second manifests himself in innumerable forms, he is like the uh, Vaidurya stone, which changes color yet remains one. All those multiforms are understood by the pure unalloyed devotees, but not by a simple study of Vedas. Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto. But the difference, so uh, scholarly people cannot understand Krishna by their knowledge, by their intelligence, but a devotee can easily understand Krishna. The difference between the Lord and Arjuna is that Lord remembered the incident, whereas Arjuna could not remember. Now, that is difference between part and parcel, living entity and the Supreme Lord. Although Arjuna is addressed herein as a mighty hero, Parantapa, subduer of the enemy, who could subdue enemies, he is unable to recall what happened in his previous birth. Therefore, a living entity, however great he may become in the material estimation, can never become equal to Supreme Lord. Next point is Lord described in Brahma Samhita as infallible Achyuta, which means that he never forgets himself. And even though he is in material contact, therefore, the Lord and the living entity can never be equal in all respect. Even if living entity is in liberated state as Arjuna, um, even if Arjuna is considered to be liberated, he's still under Maya, and therefore, Lord never comes under the influence of Maya. Krishna will never come under the influence of Maya, and therefore Krishna cannot be understood, and they are not. First of all, living entities are not at equal footing as Krishna, and Krishna will always remain superior to all of them. Prabhupada writes further that we may also note herein that a living entity forgets everything due to his change of body, but the Lord remembers because he does not change his Satchidananda body. He is Advaita, which means there is no distinction between his body and himself. Everything in relation to him is a spirit, whereas conditioned soul is different from his material body. And because the Lord's body and self are identical, his position is always different than that of ordinary living entity. Even when he descends to the multiple material platform, even when uh, Prime Minister Modi goes to Tihar jail, he will always remain Prime Minister Modi because he's gone there by his own free will. He's not subjected to the laws of jail. Even though the other people in the jail may see I'm in jail, this person is also in jail, so we are equal. He's never going to be equal because of his position will always be that of superior to all of them. He's never under the rules of the jail. He is above the rules of the jail because he's made those rules. He's the one who made those rules, and now he may occasionally come to jail to observe how those rules are followed, to observe how the reformation of criminals is taking place. But he may choose by his own sweet will to go there, but he's not obliged to come here. And he may dictate, he may direct his superintendent of jail to do this function on his behalf. But because of his concern for the citizens who have chosen to be in the jail by doing wrong actions, he personally may come. So this is how Krishna may personally come to remind us that we belong to the spiritual world, and by doing wrong actions we are suffering in the material world, in the temporary body which is subjected to janma mrityu jara vyadhi. अब जन्म हो चुका है, जरा और जरा ओल्ड एज तो वी आर हैपनिंग, एवरी डे वी आर बिकमिंग ओल्ड. व्याधि आते ही है, every now and then we suffer something or the other, some or the other sickness, and mrityu, ultimately it will all end with our body, our soul giving up our body. That event is called mrityu. So कुछ भी नहीं है तो these three things we are suffering, and this is not sufficient. After mrityu, birth as well, again we will be forced to find another woman and enter into her body and get another birth in, maybe in human body or a dog body or a cat body, whatever. A new body will be waiting for us, which is making our miseries even more deeper. So we should we should be we should be aware of this aspect about ourselves and about Lord. अजोपि सन अव्ययात्मा भूतानाम ईश्वरोपि सन प्रकृतिम स्वाम अधिष्ठाय संभवाम आत्म मायया. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. प्रकृतिम स्वामधिष्ठाय भूतानाम ईश्वरोपि सन. मतलब भूतानाम आर ऑल लिविंग एंटिटीज. आई एम द ईश्वर. आई एम ईश्वर ऑफ ऑल द लिविंग एंटिटीज. आई एम प्रकृति का स्वामी भी मैं हूँ. I am, it reveals that later in the 9th chapter 10th verse that maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharachara. So my under my supervision this prakriti is functioning. So living entity and Lord both have features of ajo, unborn or imperishable. However, Lord is Ishvara of all living entities. That is the difference. Prabhupada brings out this fact in the purport. He manifests in his original form, Prakritim Swam. But a king may visit a jail, we already saw, but he's not bound by the rules of the jail. He may go there by his own will to encourage prisoners to reform themselves. And how does he do? When does he do? And what does he do? यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहं परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in the religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. What do I do? This is what I do to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं यो वेत्ति तत्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहम पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सो अर्जुन. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attain my eternal abode, O Arjuna. This very bold statement, and we discussed this many times, but one more time, let's remember this that by by uh, by knowing is not enough. We should know tatvataha. Know what about a birth and activities performed by Lord after taking birth. So we know that Krishna comes in this material world by his own sweet will. Just like a prime minister may choose to come to a jail, Tihar jail, or for a day or two, at by his own sweet will. Similarly, Krishna choose to come, and when he comes, he obviously do some things. Uh, Then whatever he does, those activities are captured by sages, and those are discussed by them. Those are discussed amongst themselves, and those who participate in such activities, pastimes, and those who discuss these pastimes subsequently, both relish uh, great delight in doing so, and both it helps both of them to develop their attraction for Krishna, and eventually that will help them become Krishna conscious devotees, perform devotional service throughout their life, and at the end of that life, that devotional service and Krishna's grace will help them go back to Krishna. Therefore, punarjanma nahi hota hai. It's not that just because anybody who knows that Krishna lifted Govardhan um, will not take birth. Definitely, he will take birth unless he chooses to become devotee of Krishna and dedicate himself to Krishna in a submissive spirit, humble submissive spirit. So then he will not take birth. But it's still a very, very assuring verse to all of us who are practicing devotees that we have genuine opportunity to escape the cycle of repeated birth and death if we don't mess up in this lifetime, if we practice Krishna consciousness properly as per the instruction given by Prabhupada, chant 16 rounds every day, follow four regulatory principles, and stay in devotee association, perform some basic devotional service. Even if we can do these 3 4 things in simple way, we can go back to Krishna. It's not too much to ask for. We perform for our stupid education. We have spent more time, money, effort, and energy for earning our living for many 20 years, 30 years. We've been toiling very hard day and night. So this is, and all of those results are so temporary, so minuscule and so temporary, and this promises huge result and eternal benefit. So how much more should we be committed to do these activities? We should be, obviously, the logic will tell you more, but in the reality, we do as little as we can for spiritual, for Krishna consciousness, and therefore we need to increase that share to a greater degree, so that we become nice devotee and we go back to Krishna at the end of this life itself. Some example of material beauty versus spiritual beauty. Real note and fake note. Real mango, fake mango. Real beauty, spiritual beauty, material beauty. So Krishna performed various pastimes, and we can see all of those beautiful Vrindavan pastimes that Krishna performed, and that way, uh, so these pastimes are extraordinary pastimes. None of those pastimes could have possibly been performed by an ordinary person. So Krishna, no child appears like this in four-arm form, and at the request of his father, become a small child with two-arm form. No child can show universe in his mouth, no matter which chip he's installed with, to his mother. Um, no child's feet, when they touch river, the river come forward and pay obeisances and give part ways so that his father can walk. No child can expand himself into millions of forms and dance with each of his devotee and satisfy her completely. No, no human can show universal form, as was shown by Krishna. So Krishna is, though appears to be ordinary, is non-ordinary, not an ordinary person. Chapter 2, verse 2. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are identical. Prabhupada writes in the purport that Krishna and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we may be using these words interchangeably differently, but he says they are identical. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Supreme Personality of Godhead, whenever we speak, means Krishna. It's one and the same thing. Therefore, Lord Krishna, referred to as Bhagavan throughout Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan is the ultimate in the absolute truth. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Prabhupada gives beautiful example of sunshine. That sunshine comes into your home, and you know a little bit about that sunshine, but knowing small details about sunshine does not mean we know everything about sun planet. So outside, beyond sunshine, is a sun planet, and those who know sunshine and sun planet does not know about sun god, may not know about sun god who lives there, and but one who knows the sunshine, the sun planet, and sun god, all three aspects, is the perfect knower. Similarly, there is a Brahman which tells that Krishna is everywhere. Krishna, everything is manifested out of Krishna's energy. So that is Brahman. And people, those who accept this idea, are called Brahman realized devotees. So, but this is not enough. Krishna has a form also. And that Paramatma, those who pursue yoga system, they concentrate on the Paramatma in their heart, and they get a darshan of Paramatma in their samadhi, but that is progressive than just saying God is everywhere. There is no photo of God, there is no picture of God that is available, can't be limited only to one deity, he is everywhere. Now those Brahman realized devotees, Paramatma devotee is a progression. Paramatma, those who have realized Paramatma, is progression uh, from Brahman realization, where they said that God is everywhere. And Bhagavan is ultimately that person is reciprocal. Bhagavan indicates that person we have ability to reciprocate, and he reciprocates with us as well, and that gives us complete realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word Sanskrit Prabhupada writes in the same purport that Bhagavan is also explained by the great authority Parashar Muni, that the father who is the father of Vyasadeva. What do you mean by Bhagavan? The Supreme Personality of Godhead who possesses all riches, one, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. When anyone who claim to possess these six renunciation perfectly, fully, is Bhagavan. And Krishna is the only person who possesses these things in its completeness. Why Krishna appears? Primary purpose is to please or satisfy his devotees and to enjoy pastimes or lila with his dear devotees. Secondary purpose is to destroy the demons, etc., etc., etc. Um, so, so those who are demons, those who are envious of fame, Krishna can get them destroyed anywhere. But primarily, why Prime Minister comes uh, uh, to jail is to inspire people to come to him, come out of jail. If his purpose, by his order only, people are getting punished inside the jail. So if he wants to simply give punishment to the people, he can phone his superintendent of jail and he can do the needful on his behalf. So we don't personally need to go there, but he will personally would like to come to the jail so that he can inspire people there to come out of the jail. So that's why he comes. So that's all, and he will do certain activities whereby people can develop attraction towards him and ultimately develop a desire to go to him. So otherwise, there is no purpose for Krishna to come to the material world. What is now Leela? Perform some actions and pastimes to attract the attention of the devotees. Now, what do you mean by Leela? Leela means play or act involving Lord and his dear devotees. It's a play or act between Lord and his devotees, where both are participating and performing their respective roles to the perfection. Lord play a role as desired by his devotee. Mother Yashoda Maya wants to have Krishna as her son. So Krishna agrees to become her son and act and behave exactly like a son would act and behave. There he doesn't say that I'm become your son, but I'm still Supreme Personality of Godhead. So come and be senses to me. He doesn't say like that, but he actually behaves like a son. And same goes for other devotees. Lord play a role as desired by devotees, forgetting or voluntarily giving up his own supreme position. Arjuna wanted Krishna on the battlefield, and he wanted Krishna to drive his chariot. So Krishna gave up his position of supreme personality of Godhead and become driver of Arjuna. So and so many other ways in which he's reciprocated with his dear devotees so that they become happy. So devotees endeavor is to make Krishna happy, and Krishna's always endeavoring to make devotees happy, and therefore this sweet loving exchange always goes on between Lord and his devotees, pure devotees. So what does Krishna do? Because in order to increase the intensity of loving exchange, he forget himself that he is supreme personality of Godhead, and he help by through his yoga maya forget the devotee also forget that he is supreme personality of Godhead. Yashoda Maya wants to punish Krishna, but if she keep remembering that Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead, then she will be begging for forgiveness for every time she think of punishing him, and that will not make that Vatsalya ras very enjoyable for both the Sir Krishna and her mother, his mother. For both, it will not be such an enjoyable experience. So they both need to forget. Both need to forget about their real positions. Krishna, out of his merciful nature, make himself needed, as if people feel that Krishna needs them for his existence. Nanda Baba used to feel that Krishna gets scared at night, therefore he needs me to sleep next to him at night. so felt needed. In reality, Krishna doesn't need anything, but he take subordinate position in such a way that people feel that they are needed, their contribution is valued, and it is appreciated. Now, when people get in every relationship, you can think of any relationship with your spouse, with your children, with your parents, with your friends, amongst office colleagues, among college friends, amongst your relatives, uh, wherever these three things are missing, when your presence is not valued, when your contribution is not appreciated, when you are not accepted by the group, you feel as if you're not needed in the group. Now, in such situation, our relationships can't become very great. Very difficult to maintain relationship with such people um, who 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 doesn't give that warm feeling that we are needed for them. Our presence makes difference to them, and our absence also makes a difference to them. But our presence, they want, they value our presence. They feel the need for us to be present with them, and they appreciate us for whatever we do. If these three things are missing, our relationship becomes very pathetic, very sore, and we'll have all kind of relationship issues if these three things are missing in our relationship. I speak with many devotees, and I often come across examples where these three aspects of, when they go missing, you develop a very bad relationship, and you actually then end up having relationship issues, which lead to many distasteful events in one's life. So, uh, if Krishna is ready to give up his supreme position and take a very humble, lower position in compared to a devotee, why should we not do it? For those relationships which we consider as important, why should we not do it? We should also consider doing the same thing, and thereby we put relationship above our ego. If we put above our ego, we will not let our relationship get spoiled at the cost of our ego. We will give up our ego, and but still retain our relationship. We'll maintain our relationship. We'll save our relationship with important people in our life. And when that doesn't happen, people just part ways. People just develop distances. We may be living in the same home under the same roof, but mentally we can be far away. Physically we might be close, but mentally we can be far away. uh, Anybody would like to share any thoughts on this? We have 60 of us left. We'll conclude otherwise, and you can think about situations. If anybody would like to share about this relationship issue, would love to hear. I know for sure a lot of such instances exist, but anybody would like to share, that will be wonderful towards the end. How pastimes are performed. So devotees and Lord gets engrossed in performing some pastimes, and they forget their original position. Mother forgets that he is Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord also forget that he is Supreme Lord, and he consider himself as a baby and gets scared when his mother show him a stick. So this is beautiful. These pastimes are beautiful. They're beautiful. They're very awesome. They're very relishable because they are performed by none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because they are performed by Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is giving up his supremacy, who doesn't care about his supremacy. कोई ego नहीं है, no ego. Wants to. His only concern is how can I give more pleasure to my devotee, and devotees' only concern is how can I give pleasure to my dear Lord, and this reciprocal loving exchange gets intensified in form of a pastime like Damodar Lila, like the fruit sellers pastime, like Sudama pastime. Sudama is worried. He's tolerating Krishna's uh, washing his feet. Imagine Prime Minister Modi comes to your home and start washing your feet. what will you feel? Or any great person, according to you, if they come to your, if they start giving you so much honor, it becomes too much. The same was the case with Sudama. Sudama was tolerating Krishna's actions, and he would have, he know Krishna's position. He is a devotee of Krishna, and but Krishna wants to set example. So Krishna wants Sudama to play part in that role, and he's playing part. And but at the same time, he's tolerating, because devotee wants to serve Krishna, not take service from Krishna. And Krishna also wants to serve devotees. He's okay. I mean, everybody is serving him. He's happy, but he takes more pleasure in serving his devotees. So this reciprocal loving exchange is perpetually going on between Lord and his devotees. So Mother Yashoda is concerned. She forgets about his supremacy so much that she become concerned that अगर ये अभी चोरी कर रहा है तो बड़ा बन के भी चोर करेगा, वो चोरी करेगा, and then who will give him their daughter? चोर के साथ कौन शादी करने जारी करेगा, अलाउ करेगा? So my son may not get even married. What to speak? How can he be respected by the society as a butter thief? I don't want him to be known as thief. I don't want to make him famous as thief. So she's worried, and wants to discipline Krishna, and wants to thinking, punish karke I will discipline him, so that his future can become nice. So this is beautiful exchange of Vatsalya ras, giving topmost pleasure to Lord as well as his devotee. And those who are aware of this, his greatness, cannot participate in this pastime. Krishna's greatness versus Krishna's sweetness. Krishna, Lord is great, and awareness of greatness invokes awe and reverence in people. How great Narendra Modi is, how great our President of India is, how great the richest man in India is. When we become aware of somebody's greatness, naturally we develop awe and reverence towards that person. We respect that person, and knowing Krishna's greatness definitely should make us very respectful towards Krishna. But Lord is sweet also, and awareness of his sweetness invokes love and affection towards Krishna. When we see Lord is happily giving up his higher position and accept minuscule position, menial positions for the pleasure of his devotee, uh, because he loves his devotee so much, he's ready to do anything for his devotee, for the sake of his devotees, for the pleasure of his devotee, for the comfort of his devotee, for giving knowledge to his devotee. He's ready to do anything and everything, including giving up his own supreme position. He doesn't take a lot of pleasure in uh, devotees paying obeisances and chanting mantras to him, and worshipping him, or appreciating him, or for all that he has done. That is nice, but he becomes more happy when his mother chastises him for for the butter thief, for stealing butter from their neighborhood. That gives him more pleasure. Now what can we say? Who are we to decide what should be more pleasurable? Krishna is a person, and he is free to decide what should give more pleasure to him, and otherwise. So we that's also proof of his personality, because he is a person, then he will have personality, and as a personality he will like certain things and he will not like certain other things. Universal form, possession of six opulences in full, being omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent are few examples of his greatness. So because of this he is great. This is greatness is evidenced by all of these aspects. But his acceptance of inferior position for a as a small child, for playing role in Damodar Lila, is example of his sweetness. As a champion wrestler, happily wants to, he's not eager to show how much powerful he is to his young son, small son. At home, when he comes home and his son wants to wrestle with him, he happily loses to his son that, oh, you defeated me. And he's not interested in showing his power to his son, small son. But the same person, when he's fighting in the wrestling ring, he's completely different person. There he may be eager to show how much powerful he is, but while playing with his own son, he's not interested. Similarly, Lord is not interested in showing us how great he is. Rather, he's okay by us by taking a very inferior position in compared to what his real position is. Benefits of learning about Lord: by hearing descriptions of such power, such wonderful pastimes and attraction, our attraction increases towards Krishna. This shows us a trailer or a glimpse of what happens in Golok Vrindavan, home of the Lord. Rendering devotional service to Lord is much easier for anyone who learns about God. So by knowing more, it becomes easier for us to serve more, and hence such a person becomes fixed in serving Lord and thereby achieves highest goal of human life. Such a devotee do not have to take birth in this material world, which is a place of misery and temporary. Dukkhalaya ashashvatam. To summarize, Krishna reveals the secret knowledge about himself starting from this section of Bhagavad Gita. He's telling how and why he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purna Purushottam Swayam Bhagavan. Okay, so he's explaining that how aspect as well. So Arjuna is qualified to understand because he is a friend and a devotee. Means he is non-envious of Krishna and he's submissive to Krishna. If we Now these are the qualifications we should cultivate for us to be able to walk on the footsteps of Arjuna and understand Krishna's message as it is and apply it in our life as it is, and therefore making making our life perfect. Following the footsteps of Arjuna, we should also accept Krishna as God and start sincerely following to follow his instructions. Stop competing with Krishna, start cooperating with Krishna, and make our life peaceful, happy, and successful. Stop competing means whenever we're trying to enjoy independently of Krishna, we are competing with Krishna. We are trying to become Krishna in our own little way. All these efforts uh, will not be successful. So rather, we should become cooperator of Krishna. We should cooperate with him to harmonize our actions with his instructions, and thereby we lead a peaceful life, a life which is peaceful, life which is happy, and that way we perfect our life, we live life nicely throughout the life. End of life, remember Krishna and go back to Krishna, and that way we can make our human form of life successful. Beautiful facility we have every day for hearing Shravanam Kirtanam. Kirtanam is chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, happens from 4:45 to 7:30, and everyone is welcome to join this session and participate. And then there's a book reading session that happens towards the end of the day at around 8:30, and everyone is requested to participate in these sessions also. Here we read Bhagavatam for 30 minutes and then discuss one verse from Bhagavad Gita for about 15 minutes. So that way we conclude our day by Krishna consciousness activities. So we'll break if to see if there are any questions. Okay, so there are no questions. So we'll continue with our shloka contest. We have few participants who will be participating in today. We'll be meeting them today after 2 o'clock onwards. And yes, there is one question I see in the chat box: how to improve Krishna consciousness. How to improve in Krishna consciousness? A very nice question. And Yes, how to improve Krishna consciousness? We should have a desire to improve Krishna consciousness, and we should seek association of devotees. Like-minded people. Now, devotees, we may be not be living in close vicinity where many devotees are there. Then at least we should be regularly in touch with devotees over telephonic conversations. We should reveal our heart to them. We should discuss with them what is our difficulty in practicing Krishna consciousness. And when that happens, devotees can guide us through their own experience and through the instructions received from our seniors. A devotee can guide us, navigate through these challenges. We may have difficulties of our own. Some of the instructions we may be finding it difficult to follow at our current stage, and even that is all right. So when if it has to be accommodative, that it's inclusive. Krishna consciousness is an inclusive idea. It has its own highest parameters, and highest devotees do follow all of those parameters. But it includes everyone. It rule out no one, no matter how good, bad, ugly you might be. So there is something for everyone that they can do at least, and that's why Americans and Japanese and Australians and Africans, they all could become devotees when they took up to the process. They follow the simple process, they became devotees, they became perfect devotees, they became sannyasis, they went back to Krishna. So uh, so it is there, it is available, and it is accessible because ISKCON is present, Bhagavad Gita is present, devotees are present. We should just step out of our comfort zone, call people, and call people and seek guidance. For somebody falls asleep, I fall asleep while chanting. I I will walk and chant. What can I do? I'll so speak with devotees. Get in touch with the devotees who are connected with you. If not, you can write to me, and I can connect you with devotees, or I can speak myself. Here is my number, and we can discuss some of the issues, and that way we can try and help you as much as we can. But thank you for taking that initiative. Gayatri Mataji, how to develop taste in chanting. So the taste in chanting of Krishna's name comes by various ways. When you read about Krishna, when you learn more about Krishna, you become more aware of Krishna as a person. And then when you chant his name, you can recall all of these what we discussed today. I'll share this with you, the PPT that we discussed today, and you can go through the PPT, and tomorrow when you sit down for chanting, you can try and recall whatever we discussed today, and then you will come to the conclusion that you will get is, wow, I'm chanting name of that person who is such a great personality, who's such loving person. And so by knowing more about a person, our attraction towards that person increases, and then chanting becomes easy. Our attraction translates into love eventually. And when we love person, our mothers are never tired of uttering name of their child because she loves him. So once you develop some attraction and love towards Krishna, it will become very easy for us to chant his name whole day. That devotees who are attached to the chanting of holy name, because they see no difference between Krishna and his name, they actually realize this, that when they are with Krishna, when they are chanting, they experience Krishna. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've given my number, and anybody has any other doubts, can feel free to call me, and we can discuss in more details. Okay. Any other question anybody has? Swapnil Prabhuji has one question. We'll wait for him to ask a question. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, actually, uh, the question was that when we said that body is temporary and soul is permanent, but soul, when it leaves the body, uh, it it carries the burden of karmas of the body when it gets into the other body. The body diminishes, perishes, and the soul moves to the another body. And if the body and the soul together are into karmas, it goes to heavenly abode, where we say it has gone to soul has migrated to Vaikuntha. But otherwise, it attains the another body. So the burden of karmas of our presence or our materialistic life, does it carries that burden, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna. So soul carries the burden of karma, and therefore he can get a dog's body. From human also, he can degrade to a dog's body. I was speaking with somebody that there's a devotee dog. There's people call him devotee dog. Whenever the kirtan starts, the dog comes and sits there. Uh, could he have been a devotee in the previous life? Possible. Could have messed up in such a big way that he became dog. So now in the dog's body also he's trying to become a devotee. Now it's one wonder that dog is so attached to the kirtan, is for us to see that dog can be so how dog can be so attached to the kirtan. But it is uh, another way of looking at it is that it's a warning to all of us. If we mess things up, we can become dog. What's the fun? What's the point in becoming dog devotee? I should when I'm a human devotee, I should not hope to become a dog devotee. Rather, I should perfect my devotion and go back to Krishna. So there is a risk for everyone, and that risk is nothing but a outcome of our karma. Okay.
Hare Krishna,
So
Prabhuji. Dandavat
karma
pranam.
never forgets an address. Karma never forgets an address. So no matter which body you go into, karma will come and it will get delivered to you. There's no question about that. Okay, Prajit, thank you so much for your question. तो प्रश्न है, क्या माता पिता का पुण्य का असर बच्चों को मिलता है, और पाप अपराध में अंतर पाप और अपराध दोनों में अंतर क्या है? फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज, माता पिता का पुण्य का असर बच्चों को मिलता है? Hmm, नहीं मिलता है. Prabhupada writes often in his purports, in his classes also, Prabhupada ji has spoken कि we all fly our own airplane. जैसे कि if I am a chartered accountant, my wife is a chartered accountant. Does my child will get a degree of chartered accountancy just because they are born to us? No. But will they have advantageous position if they also wish to become a chartered accountant? Yes. Okay. So we often see this in case of actors. Uh, there are husband and wife, both are very famous actors, and always there's a pressure on their children. Will they become actor? Will they become equally successful actor or more successful than their parents were? The parents were superstars. Will the children ever at all become actor? Maybe, may not be. But do they have advantage? If they choose to become actor, do they have certain advantages that others don't have? Of course they have. Because their parents are from the same industry, they will know everyone. And if they wish to, you know, act in a film or do a movie, it they will not have to struggle like how other people would have had to struggle. So we have to understand it's not that everything gets automatically. They get a certain they may have certain advantages over others. बच्चों को वो advantages हो सकते हैं, but बाकी कुछ नहीं मिलता. but they have to strive their own on their own. They have to work hard in their own life to become Krishna conscious and go back to Krishna. They may have some advantageous situation because घर में भक्त रहेंगे, deities रहेंगे, and like that, books रहेंगे available. So if they want, they can, if they choose to, they can become devotees very quickly. And we see most of the cases वैसा भी होता है, because a pure soul uh, will pray to Lord to send another devotee soul in their, when they are about to beget a child. And by all means, Lord may oblige, Lord may send another devotee soul to them, so that from childhood only that boy or girl will be a devotee. But it's got nothing to do, but it can be the other way around also. They may not become a devotee also. There many Bollywood actors children don't come to Bollywood. Many cricketers children don't become cricketers. Many doctors children don't want to become doctor. They actually don't become doctor also. So वो advantage होता है, but apart little advantage they get, but apart from that not much benefit. पाप और अपराध दोनों में क्या अंतर है? It's a little difficult question. पाप in my view is more intentional, प्लान करके किया जाता है. अपराध अनजाने में भी होते रहते हैं. Many अपराध्स we may do knowingly or unknowingly. So अपराध is a is a lower than the pap is a higher sin. It's like done with pre-plan, with precautions not to get caught. अपराध in generally होते रहते हैं. We go to we may visit a temple and some sannyasis are passing by, and we genuinely may not note take note of them, and we may forget to pay obeisances to them. Now it can be looked at as a Vaishnava aparad, but I'm not aware of it also. Sometimes I may see him, but in a very hurry, I may just I may not pay obeisances. I may just rush and go away. Sometimes I may see and go away. Sometimes I may not even see, but I may still go away. But in both cases, there can be an aparad that we might have done. So aparads are, it's a smaller but पाप is bigger. पाप is like full planning करके हम जो करते हैं, that is in most often I think पाप pre-plan होता है. पाप intentional होता है. अपराध sometimes it is intentional, but sometimes it is unintentional also. So that way I can see in a very generic level. But if you have any specific question regarding this, feel free, Mataji, to send me a message. I can try and do some research and answer if this is okay.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Vansh Saxena, my first session in getting to learn a lot about Bhagavad Gita, definitely a life changer to me. Yes, Vansh, thank you so much. Feel free to message me your mobile number, because in Zoom call we don't get mobile numbers, and we would definitely like to be in touch with our devotees, all the devotees who come regularly. उनसे हम हमेशा, we try to be in touch, because apart from learning Bhagavad Gita, when it comes to practical application of Bhagavad Gita, a lot of devotees face a lot of challenges, and that's where help is required sometimes. Okay, so feel free to message me. I hope you'd have taken note of the number which I shared earlier, and feel free to message me, and then we can be in touch. Thank you so much, Vansh. Prashant Kumar Prabhuji, we can discuss last question. We can take last question before conclude today's session.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Yes, ma'am.
प्रभु जी, हेलो.
Yes, Prabhuji, go ahead. Prashant, आप पूछिएगा, then we can have one more question. I think somebody else also wants to speak.
जी प्रभु जी, जो जहाँ तक मुझे जो पता है, बहुत ज़्यादा तो नहीं पता है, लेकिन ये जो भगवान श्री कृष्ण जी ने श्रीमद् भगवत गीता में वर्ण व्यवस्था के बारे में जो बताई है, तो ये फिर लेकिन ये जाति की व्यवस्था तो ऐसा कुछ शायद नहीं है प्रभु जी, लेकिन हमारे समाज में उसी को महत्व देते हैं प्रभु जी की उसी के परंपरा के अनुसार हमें चलना है। तो हमें उसको महत्व देना चाहिए, या जो भगवान श्री कृष्ण जी ने वर्ण व्यवस्था को बताई है उसको हमें उनके अनुसार आचरण हमारा होना चाहिए।
So yes, we'll discuss this in some of the coming sessions में, ये डिस्कशन में आएगा टॉपिक। और चौथे अध्याय के 13वें श्लोक में ही भगवान बताता है कि चातुर्वर्ण्य मया सृष्टम गुण कर्म विभागशः। जो जो प्रचलित है वर्ण व्यवस्था, वो बर्थ के बेसिस पे है। इफ यू आर बोर्न इन शर्मा फैमिली, मिश्रा फैमिली, और एनी ब्राह्मण फैमिली, अय्यर और whatever, you are considered as a brahmana. So by birth you are considered either a brahmana or a kshudra. बट भगवान बताते हैं गुण कर्म विभागशः। नाउ गुण भी होने चाहिए, कर्म भी चाहिए, अनुसार, उसके अनुसार, एंड उसके अनुसार ही आपका डिवीजन होता है। So it is not that straightforward. Just because you have taken birth in the Brahmana family, you are it is assumed that you have all the Brahmanical qualities. हम देखते हैं, हमें इनफैक्ट कि ऐसा नहीं होता है। सो कॉल्ड ब्राह्मणास हम बोलते हैं, बट दे आर अनेबल टू डेमोन्स्ट्रेट एनी क्वालिटीज ऑफ ब्राह्मणिकल कल्चर। व्हाट आर द क्वालिटीज? कृष्णा हैज स्पोकन इन द 42nd verse of 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, um, he describes the qualities of brahmanas, that shamo damos tapa, shamas shamo damas tapa, shaucham shantim arjavam evacha, ज्ञानम विज्ञानम आस्तिक्यम ब्रह्म कर्म स्वभावजम। ये सब क्वालिटीज, शमो is a sense control, and shamo is sense control, and damo is a sense control, shamo is mind control. Shaucha is cleanliness. Shantim is peacefulness. Arjavam is submissive humbleness, humility. Jnanam is realized knowledge. Jnanam is knowledge. Vijnanam is realized knowledge. That astik and anastik, nastik basically. So the one who is firm faith in the Vedas, and believers of the whole Vedic system, and Brahma Karma Swabhavaja. This is qualities of Brahmana. So if you see, uh, these things doesn't exist today in community. So everything is degraded, and in that sense, everyone is a Kshudra. But devotees, those who are able to raise themselves at a platform of devotional service, by performing devotional service, they come to the Brahmanical, they develop these Brahmanical qualities by performance of japa and study of Vedas like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. They become actually Brahmanas despite of they not being born in Brahmanical kula. Also, the the division of four caste system exists in all societies, in all countries. It, in simple way, it bifurcates society in such a way that people are able to do the best given their capabilities. A brahmana may not be have a suitable body for fighting a war. A vaishya may not have inclination to study, do a deep study of scriptures, and a kshudra who can perform heavy bodily actions may not have any knowledge about business. So everyone is born with different qualities. All of us possess different qualities, and these gunas are coming to us from our indulgences in the previous lives. So if one is very kshatriya qualities, he should be engaged in the alike activities. If he's engaged in wrong activities, he may mess things up. If a Vaishya is asked to study scriptures, forced to study scriptures, if one who has Vaishya mentality is forced to study scriptures, every time he will open Bhagavad Gita, he will start thinking how much money he can make by selling this book rather than how much knowledge I can get by reading the book, because that's his inclination. Right, wrong, it's not important. uh, Lord says, act according to your nature. Act according to your nature. You will be peaceful if you do that. And by becoming peaceful, you will be able to practice Krishna consciousness in a much better way. If you if you're if you're physically not peaceful, spiritually you cannot elevate yourself. It's like you're hungry. No great philosophy can enter your head because you are hungry at a physical discomfort level. How much you will learn? May not be able to learn anything. So in order to attain a peaceful condition, a relatively peaceful condition at a physical level, material level, Krishna advises us to act according to our nature. Identify what is your inclination and act accordingly. But he doesn't say that a Kshudra cannot um, go back to Krishna. He says everyone has equal opportunity to go back to Krishna. Even if you happen to be born in a Kshudra family, if you practice, do what you can do best to earn your living and practice Krishna consciousness wholeheartedly and go back to Krishna. In Kshudra body, you can go back to Krishna. In a women body, you can go back to Krishna. In a Brahmana body, you can go back to Krishna. Kshatriya body, you can go back to Krishna. So in one sense, these divisions are always existent in the society. It's not new thing. Krishna has created it. And there will be some people whose preferences are those, and we should respect their preferences and we should allow them to function according to their preference. This is varnashram basically, in a sweet short way. What we have in India is is ulta of this, because there we say कि a Brahmana who is born in Brahmana family must act like a Brahmana, and a Brahmana. So you label them and make it permanent for the lifetime. That's not intent by Lord. Because that's why he says the guna karma vibhaga shaha. Because you may be born in a Brahmana family, but if you have Kshatriya Kshudra mentality, you want to go and eat meat and get drunk and go and sleep with prostitutes, you are not a Brahmana. Sorry. Because you have Kshudra mentalities, you are a Kshudras, no matter what your last name happen to be. So nothing is automatic. Most of us think that way in India, but that's not how it should be, or it is intended by Lord at least. That's why he says guna karma vibhagasha. What are your propensities? What are your inclinations? कैसे आप सोचते हो, कैसे आप act करते हो? How much sense control you can demonstrate? Brahmana can Brahmanas and Kshatriyas can demonstrate highest level of sense control. Karna, there's a story that Karna was asleep. Karna, his guru was sleeping on his lap, and there was an insect who started biting Karna, and Karna tolerated as he bit so much that his thigh started bleeding, but Karna didn't shake he didn't even move an inch. And when his guru woke up, he saw there's a flow of blood flowing from his thigh, and he inquired with Karna that so much physical endurance no Brahmana can demonstrate. So you are not a Brahmana, you are disguised as a Brahmana. And then he actually cursed Karna. So one should not disguise, one should not cheat one's own self. And we should be happy with whatever inclinations that we have. This is the advanced scriptural knowledge. Now, this is gunas. There are more than 100 verses in Bhagavad Gita which describes the gunas, sattva, rajo, tamo guna, and their different combinations. No scriptures nowhere in the world. This is advanced study. That's why Bhagavad Gita is called Hindu. This Sanatan religion is called advanced than all other religions in the world, because other religions barely recognizes the existence of soul inside the body, and the transmigration of soul also is not recognized by most of the divisions. So they're at that very basic level, whereas here we talk about transmigration and the, more than 100 verses of gunas which impact the software or the mind, which help us function in the world. So much advanced knowledge is given in the Bhagavad Gita. That's why it's called far, far superior than any other scriptures in the world, any other religious text. So this is far, far superior because this has got so much advanced knowledge. So that's why it is superior. So guna karma vibhagasha is also one of such thing, but it is misunderstood. We agree, we understand that, but we should understand Lord's perspective also. And from devotees' point of view, they don't worry much about all of this. Mahaprabhu has said that anybody who is, even if a Chandal, if he perfectly knows Krishna, science of Krishna consciousness, you should make him your guru. Even the Chanda. So Chanda is the one who is killing and eating dog eater. He is eligible to become guru also if he wants to. So it completely depends on the guna and karma of a person and advancement in the science of Krishna consciousness. Okay, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I was the one like I asked you how to improve the Krishna consciousness.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Prabhuji, actually, I came like I joined the session very late. So, you told me to like remember the things what we have discussed in this lecture, but I actually, unfortunately, I joined very late. Like this is my first session. I never joined. So, is there any recording
I have
available
recorded.
so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I can
Currently, it's
rewatch?
getting recorded. So I'll conclude this. I'll share the recording. So you can send me your name and number, Mataji, and I'll send it to you, and you can go through the recording. Okay. Is that okay, Mataji? Anything else? Yes. Thank you so much, Mataji. I'll
No,
send it
Prabhuji,
to
I
you.
have sent my like name and number. You can send
Yes,
me.
I'll send it to you. Thank you so much. This is WhatsApp number, right? Gayatri Mataji, this is WhatsApp number or this is normal number? Sometimes we find out that this is
Oh,
not
WhatsApp
WhatsApp
number,
number.
WhatsApp number, WhatsApp
Okay,
number.
perfect. I'll send it to you. Okay.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So we'll conclude today's session. श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय, शील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि बोल हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्णा टू ऑल डिवोटीज.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu,
Hare Krishna
Thank you
Prabhuji.
so
Thank
much,
you so
Prabhuji.
much.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी
हरे
दंडवत प्रणाम.
धन्यवाद माताजी.
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
प्रभु
प्रभु
जी,
जी
दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna.
प्रणाम. थैंक यू
हरे
एवरीवन.
कृष्णा. थैंक यू.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्णा.